Hello, and welcome to The Nature Connection, Science, Wildlife, and Environment Radio, with your hosts, Lisa and Nancy.
Known as the gateway to the Great Southwest, Yuma, Arizona is located on the lower Colorado River between Tucson and San Diego. It's a beautiful historic, cultural, and outdoor adventure destination. And some of the attractions include, obviously, the Colorado River. We want to go floating, right, Nancy?
Who doesn't love the river?
Yeah, there's the Yuma Crossing National Heritage Area. You can go find out all about the criminals from the Yuma Territorial Prison.
That's fun. I love it.
Pearl Hart.
Yes.
Right?
Gun-toting female that robbed stagecoach.
And there's the Colorado River State Historical Park, once known as the Quartermaster Depot. There's the Yuma Art Center and Historic Yuma Theater. There's all kinds of museums, and there's a beautiful historic downtown district, and there's all kinds of shops and restaurants, and there's just so much to do in Yuma. It's really gone through like a renaissance over the last, I'd say, 10, 15 years. Don't you think, Nancy?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you haven't been there for a while, you need to go back and discover it.
Do not just stop there for gas on your way to and from on the highway.
I think we should call it Rediscover Yuma.
That's exactly it. It's got these amazing habitats, very diverse. So from desert farmlands to river wetlands, as we know, Nancy, there's about 400 species that make this region a home, whether it's seasonal or year-round. And there is a new festival that's taking place January 4th through January 6th, 2019. And it is the inaugural Yuma Bird, Nature, and History Festival. It's an amazing program. I was just looking at all the different activities. It's incredible. And we're very excited to have two special guests join us on today's Big Blend Radio Nature Connection show to talk about all the different birding opportunities, the different programs in the festival, and some of the history of the area. And first, I'm going to start with Nancy Meister. She is the president of the Yuma Audubon Society, and I encourage you to go to their website, audubonyuma.org. Nancy, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, doing good. It's good to have you back on the show. It's been a couple years. Has it been 2 years? It's been a while. So it's good to have you back. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I know we missed you when we had our Craven Raven cocktail contest, the Craven Raven recipe cocktail contest at the Yuma Landing. But, you know, we were hoping we were going to meet up with you not only to taste the cocktails and have you as a judge with us, but also to go for a walk on the riverfront in the wetlands. That's one of the top places in just downtown Yuma for people to go birding, right? In the east and west wetlands.
Oh, it's excellent. And this summer we had a newcomer to the area. It was kept a secret because this was an endangered bird that did nest in the area this summer. It did fledge a couple of small birds. So we've been looking for it for a number of years, and this summer it showed up.
And you can't tell us the gossip? You can't give us the name?
Oh. Well, it's in the cuckoo family. How's that?
Okay. Oh, well, that must be part of mine.
Sure it wasn't us?
No, but that's amazing. I remember the last time we spoke to you, it was like, what bird do you want to see? And that was one of your birds that you wanted to see, was a cuckoo. I remember that being an important bird for you to find. So now I know why. That's amazing. Do you think part of that is because of the restoration of the riverfront, of taking the invasive species out and restoring the wetlands back to the way they are?
Oh, absolutely. To attract birds, we know that native plants are much better at getting the birds here and keeping them here for nesting, because there's the food, either the berries or the insects or whatever they might be looking for food. And of course, the river with water, that's just the place to find birds.
And you have the trees as well, which provide shade and nesting habitats, and I mean, this is an easy trail. Both areas are easy for people to get to, and some of them are actually accessible, which I think is very exciting. And I want to talk to you about that in a little bit, because that's part of the activities in this festival. But I want to bring Yvonne Peach back on the show. No stranger to Big Blend Radio or us at all. Yvonne is the co-owner of the Coronado Motor Hotel, celebrating 80 years this year. Congratulations on that. And also the Yuma Landing Bar and Grill, very historic. It's the site where the very first airplane landed in the state of Arizona. And she also has the Yuma Historical Society Museum of Aviation and Tourism. As we've always been saying over the years, it's the Casa de Coronado Museum because it's actually part of the family history of the hotel. And now it's a nonprofit, and that's the name, Yuma Historical Society Museum of Aviation and Tourism. And if you go to that website, you'll be able to find out all the details for the Birding Festival happening again January 4th through 6th, 2019, has all the different programs. So it's yumahistorymuseum.org. Hi, Yvonne. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. How are you?
We're waiting for our Craven Raven cocktails. I'm just saying.
We'll be serving them during the Bird Festival.
That's excellent.
Awesome.
Excellent. We got to give a shout out to our friends over the Craven Band over in Florida who wanted to do this cocktail recipe, and we said, well, you can't just do it in Florida. You have to take it to Yuma too, because that's how we do things. It was amazing. We had so much fun with the contest, and now you have an official drink for the Bird Festival. And it's not just a Bird Festival; it's also nature and history. And Yvonne, I want to touch base with you on this because I know over the years, you're our tour headquarters for our Love Your Parks tour. So you and Johnny and everyone you're going to have to put up with us again. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, we're waiting for you to come. Yes, we are.
Nancy, birding walks are coming. Okay, we're going to be there again. So we definitely, at some point, Nancy, we got to go walking on the riverfront. Are you ready for that? Are you going to take us on a certified Audubon nature walk?
Oh, absolutely. We're ready for you. Weather is turning nicer.
Yeah, and do you still do those walks where people have like guided walks on the riverfront? Does that still happen with the Audubon Society?
We're going to be starting again this month. I had an exciting wedding during the summer. That's the reason I missed the Raven Martini. But yes, we'll be starting up with our bird walks on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock this month.
Okay, excellent. So everybody,
Cool.
and then what month do they go through? When does it stop? I know you stop in summer, right?
Usually we stay all summer, but
Okay, that's good. Yeah. So everybody stay through to Wednesdays, 8 a.m. is the bird walks with the Yuma Audubon Society, and that's audubonyuma.org. Yvonne, this is something, we've been talking about for years with you. Yuma used to have a birding festival, right? And so now you wanted to bring it back. Was that because of your guests that kept nagging you for a festival?
Well, it was a combination of the guests asking and Nancy from the Audubon Association here in Yuma. We had talked several times, and a matter of fact, we've had guests come and go that were bird watchers the last 3 or 4 years. We've had little groups come in, and I have guests that I've told them where to go, and I don't know. We got together and we talked about it, and we decided we're going to do a bird festival.
And it's cool
love it.
because it's also the nature side of it. And this festival is in Yuma and then the surrounding areas. And you do have a lot of wildlife. There's bighorn sheep, there's bats, there's all kind of beavers, as we know.
Yeah.
So this is not just, birds, it's nature, but then you brought the history in, which kind of goes with it because when you think about it, you're talking about birds with wings, you got a lot of aviation history too. So it's nice that you incorporated that as well.
Well, the thing is most of the people that bird watch, they walk. They may travel somewhere, but they'll get out and they walk and they walk. And here in Yuma, there's so much history and so much nature to see while you're walking. So you might as well just put those together. So that's, as a group, there's several of us in the group, we decided just to call it the Bird, Nature, and History Festival. And I think it was a good choice.
Excellent. I love that. And that's great for the museum too. And I know you also have the museum. It's got a lot of tourism history, and a lot of that goes into people coming here for birding. I always knew from San Diego that Yuma was a birding destination. So this is excellent and very exciting. Nancy, is it true, like 400 birds over the year? Like I know there's a lot of migration, but 400 bird species? That's a lot.
yeah, that's true. Not all of them are year-round residents, but we do have specific ones that make our area unique, such as the silky flycatcher or the aperd stowey that are unique to this area. And I also want to mention that we've sort of partnered also with the native plant people. So we have a couple of walks that are going to specifically feature our native plants. So some of those are like, we do have native palm trees in the Kofor Refuge. In the Gila Mountains, we have the elephant trees, which are unique to this area, found only a few other places in the world.
Oh, that's amazing. So that's important. The native plant side, I know we do a lot with the Certified National Wildlife Habitat Gardens. They do the National Wildlife Federation, and we do a segment pretty much every 2 months or so with David Mizejewski, and we talk about the importance of native plants. And he's like, you do that more than birdseed. It's going to bring you the birds into your yard and other critters as well. But it's important that we recognize these native species because that's really what keeps the birds around. And sometimes, isn't it true that some birds only eat certain things, and it could be that one plant, right? So that's an important thing for us to understand and learn about. Go ahead.
We have a native bird here, a desert bird called phainopepla that eats the berries on the mistletoe that's found in the mesquite trees.
Cool.
Very unique.
Yes, they're very shy, actually.
Yeah.
We have them here, and you can hear them long before you see them, and they're shy, and they're beautiful birds.
Oh, they're amazing, but you don't get them. We've talked to other people who are like, well, you're so lucky to have them, and they're so shiny, and they're kind of regal. They're, they're very, they're fleshy. They're la-di-da birds.
Okay. They have a beautiful call, though.
They do. Now, I remember the last time you were on the show, we talked about the clapper rail, the Yuma clapper rail that goes off in more of the riparian areas, And then you said that's not the name. What's the new name?
It's the Ridgeway Rail. The American Bird Association is the official namer of birds, and for some reason they've decided the name was incorrect, so we have now the Ridgeway Clapper Rail.
Okay. All right, Mr. Ridger. That's Ridgeway. Yeah, we'll remember that. Now, we've seen a lot of different birds, especially in the wetlands, which I think is pretty interesting that you can be in a downtown district and a couple blocks you're on a riverfront, and you can see osprey, egrets, herons, plovers, coots. Is it coots? Are we seeing moorhens or coots?
Both.
Coots. And moorhens, but mostly coots.
Okay. Yeah. And that to me is amazing. And even in the downtown area, I think we've seen merlins.
It was either peregrine falcons or merlins that were in this one tree, and we were doing a photographic thing early in the morning with the sharpshooter group, and not killing things, just
photographing.
Yes. No, I mean the sharpshooters don't kill things.
No, they're shooting. It's
target.
Fun. And by the way, Yvonne knows how to shoot those guns. Just saying.
And so they were down there, and those two falcons or merlins, whichever, were in this one tree at the end of the one block, and they just flew all over town. We were so amazed to see that. Remember?
Yeah, and they're right in the downtown.
Yeah.
So do you think it's because Yuma has so many trees that it's kind of like a tree city?
Yeah, possibly. Plus, it depends on the year. If there's, an outbreak, I don't know if you call it an outbreak, but, if we have a lot of gophers or ground squirrels or whatnot, then we see more of the raptors in the area. So it depends. And it seems like this year we've had a lot of rabbits, which means they're a small rabbit. So something like a merlin could very easily snatch a small rabbit.
Wow. Okay. Wow, that's amazing. Where's your favorite place to go bird watching? I mean, do you go out in the agricultural fields? Because the farmlands seem to bring out like the burrowing owls, and that's also an interesting place.
This time of the year, the fields south of Yuma are a good place to look for hawks. We get, of course, the red-tailed hawks are here year-round, but we also get a lot of the ferruginous hawks. And the way those fields are irrigated, it's a above-ground sprinkler, which moves in a circular path. So you might see 200 hawks sitting on those sprinklers, and they're looking for obviously food, and that's a good vantage point for them to hang out and wait for the critters. So they usually come in around November. That's our best time to see a lot of those hawks down in the South County.
What is January like when you think about for bird watching, for birders? I mean, I don't think we've ever had a day without seeing, like, good birding opportunities in Yuma, personally. But January, I know that's when the festival is happening. It's happening also over World Bird Day, or International Bird Day, that's happening. January 5th is that annual celebration. And I love that because, Yuma borders Mexico, California, you got Arizona, the different Native American nations as well. And at the same time, so many international people come through Yuma. So it makes sense that it's on that day that it happens, part of the festival. But yeah, what's January like and winter like for birding?
Well, number one, the weather is great here for birding, and we get a lot of our water birds are here at that time of the year. So we're going to see a lot of different varieties of ducks. We do get geese here. We'll see shorebirds, avocets, stilts. The grebes, I love the western grebes. They're so elegant looking. And an occasional common loon will be found out at Senator's Wash. So, it's a good time to bird. But Yuma's a good time to bird anytime. So even in our hottest months, there are birds that you wouldn't see other times of the year here.
That's exactly. You just get up really early. And Yvonne, do you see birders year round too that come to the hotel?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I get people that come and I watch them, and next thing I know, they've got a camera with a binocular lens on them, trying to figure out what they're doing. And they're taking pictures of birds in the trees. So, it used to be, you'd see people taking landscape, but there's an awful lot of people that are bird watchers. I've noticed more and more, especially the last 6-8 months.
Well, I think it's getting, it's becoming bigger and bigger as people find out more, especially on the internet. And, Nancy and I were just looking at eBird. I mean, big blend, Nancy. Audubon, Nancy. eBird.com, and we were just looking at all the posts there. Is that a reliable source? Isn't that through Cornell where people can go and post their sightings? Is that a good place to go for getting bird lists and for people to know what Yuma has in regards to birds?
Absolutely. I post there as YAS president, so you'll see some of my posts. And it is citizen science. Those of us who enjoy birding like to put in our sightings there, so we have created a body of knowledge of what's here. So you can click on a hot spot, see what's there at a particular, or you can click on, what time of the year would you be interested in coming, and you'll see a list of birds that have been spotted by other bird lovers. So, yeah, it's a great site.
Awesome. Let's talk about this festival because I think it's such an exciting thing. It's a way for people to get into Southwestern history, military history. It's a way for people to see birds that they never get to see. Real quick though, Nancy, life bird, Audubon Nancy. What do you think people come? Does a life bird really? It's by each person, right? Because for some people it could be an ibis. Some person was going to be something different, right? It could be someone's never seen an osprey, that's their life bird, and they come for that. So, or is there a specific life bird that people you think would come to Yuma for?
Probably the Apert towhee, I would think, would be one that they're not as likely to see other places,
really?
especially that time of the year.
Oh, wow. Because the towhees are interesting. They're all different. Like you wouldn't think they're all related. You know what I mean? When you look at all the different species of them, it's just
right.
Yeah, I was learning about towhees because we saw. Is it a lazuli bunting or a lazuli bunting?
Lazuli. Lazuli bunting.
I win, Nancy.
stand it.
I know. We saw them the other day, and we're trying to figure out because it's not like a bluebird, but
no,
it is. But
then I have to explain.
But I got stuck in the Toei land.
My dad used to make jewelry, and there was a stone that he called lazuli.
Doesn't mean
yeah, and it is blue, and it's a beautiful gemstone, and he used to make jewelry out of it, and he always said, and it was from the bird, the lazuli bunting. So that's where I'm like, it's lazuli to me. Sorry.
It's cool. Well, I know a lot of people go out rock hunting in rock hounding or rock hunting in Yuma area too.
It's a beautiful stone, but
let's look at some of the history of this festival. This festival, again, it's exciting to me. And everyone, again, it is the Yuma Bird Nature and History Festival. It's January 4th through 6th, 2019. The website is yumahistorymuseum.org. If you go there, you'll find all the different events. You got birding, you got history. Yvonne, some of the history is in regards to the Yuma Proving Ground too, right? So you've got that, and then also Mysteries of Yuma.
Yeah, we've teamed up with the Yuma Proving Grounds is actually going to do a tour out there of the history, of the military, and they call it Birds of the Army. So that's what he's doing out there. And then we have Bruce Gwynn from Sanguinetti's. He's going to be doing Wings Over Yuma and talking about the history of aviation in Yuma, all the way from the first plane landing all the way to the city of Yuma playing the endurance flight. And he'll probably talk about the military and probably the modern day also. And then Sanguinetti's are going to have a couple of mystery tours, I believe is what they were going to have. I'm trying to,
yeah, the mystery. You have so much. It's actually pretty amazing how big this festival has grown. You've got Colorado River history. I know Tammy Snook, city historian, is going to be doing that. And that's going to be at the Pivot Point Conference Center. So this is all kind of connected to the heritage area. So it's interesting how the history comes in. When Nancy, the territorial prison's in there too, everybody. A tour of the territorial prison.
It's jailbirds.
Yeah, you can learn about that. Nancy, Audubon, Nancy, do birds ever nest in the prison cells? Do you ever think that?
No, it sounds like that guy that did Birds of Alcatraz or something. No, I'm not.
The Birdman of Alcatraz.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of that, but we did have a good storyteller who's going to be talking about how when you have a bird who's named after a person, how those names came about. So I think that will be a really interesting talk too. I'm looking forward to that one myself.
I love that because I am always curious as to how plants and birds and animals got their names.
Mm-hmm.
It is interesting. And okay, there's the scientific names in Latin, and they're talking about different families and species and all that. But the common name for an animal comes from somebody with a story somewhere. It's really interesting to find out why this was named that. I feel the same way about walking in the city and the street names. It's like, if I don't like the fourth-third like avenues and streets as much as I like the names.
Yeah,
because when you see something that goes Star Pass Road, I feel like you need to go there because there's going to be stars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I would like 4th Avenue to be officially declared Old Highway 80. Don't you agree, Yvonne? People need to know about Old Highway 80. I think
they should put signs up all the way through the middle of 4th Avenue that says Historic Highway 80. I do.
Yeah.
I do that. They've done it all over across the country. And a Highway 80 is older than Route 66 is.
It's the very first highway. It went from Georgia to San Diego.
It went coast to coast. That's how we got the ocean bridge that's here.
Yeah, the ocean-to-ocean bridge. It's amazing because that bridge takes from Arizona to California. And it's really neat because you can go gamble in that one casino and go from Arizona to California.
In fact, it's like even your tickets, not that we gamble a lot. No, the tickets come out, this is a California ticket, that's Arizona ticket.
I don't know if it still does it that way, but
it does because the way it was built. It's kind of like built on the on the state line. You walk out one door and you're in Arizona, and you go in the other door and you're in California.
And I have to say, you win more on the Arizona side. Okay. Oh, that's proven.
But okay, so now
that sounds like experience.
Yes, just saying. California is your neighbor, and also a lot of I know this from years, especially also living out in Borrego Springs and in that area at one point. Sonny Bono Salton Sea. The Salton Sea has always been known as a birding destination, and it's a wildlife refuge. And so I'm seeing that, Nancy, this is going to be a trip, one of the special trips that go out on this.
Yes, it certainly is unique to the area, and the millions of birds that are there during the winter time. It will be an amazing sight for people to see. We anticipate that that's going to be a highlight for our birding festival. So lots of, again, shorebirds and ducks, geese. You can also see flamingos in there occasionally, and they're escapees, we think, but they've made themselves known in that area, and may be roosting there. I don't know, but they do see flamingos there.
Wow. I didn't know that you got verdins too, all the way through your area. I thought they were more like Sonoran Desert. I didn't know verdins came out that far. But then, wait, they're in Joshua Tree too. So yeah, the verdins. I love our little verdins. Sorry, that's one of my favorite little birds.
Yeah.
But you're not going to see them in the rest of the country, right? Verdins. That's one of those birds, like the flycatcher, the phainopetla.
Yeah, it's unique to this area, to the Sonoran Desert. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Okay, so now all the shorebirds, this is that time. If you could see a flamingo, listen, everyone, you better Instagram this festival. I want everyone to Instagram it. Hashtag me, I don't know. Just, I want to see flamingos, and I want to see all the avises and the stilts. What about the ibis? When do the ibis come in?
They'll be here this winter. We get the white-faced ibis here, and there are usually flocks of them. Mm-hmm. And we will be seeing those along the roadway as we approach the Salton Sea, too. They're in that Imperial Valley area.
Wow.
Sometimes we've seen them fly overhead when we're driving, and you're like, follow that bird.
I know. I know. The other thing, too, that you're going to be doing some seminars, and I think this is, hello, but there's also fried bread tasting, just saying, at the Cocoa Museum. The Birds of Trinidad and Tobago, you have a special guest, Martin Kennefick, joining you. He's the author of Birds of Trinidad and Tobago, doing a special dinner and seminar. That's pretty exciting.
We were really lucky to have an opportunity to invite him to Yuma. He is doing a tour across the U.S. and made himself available to Audubon chapters. So certainly when I saw that email come across my computer, I immediately wrote back and said we would love to have him as a keynote speaker for our festival.
That's so cool.
That is exciting. And it's going to be interesting. Do you think any of the tropic birds come over to Yuma? Or is this going to be something like, everyone there is going to go like, hey, we need to go there too? As far as I know, birders will go anywhere to find their life birds and to fill up that list, right?
I'm going to have to wait to hear his talk, so I'll know what birds are there, because I've never been to Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. Well, not yet. You never know. Now, Betty's Kitchen, that's one of those other, off the beaten path destinations. You're taking people to Betty's Kitchen. And this is going to be with the Bureau of Land Management. You've got Erica Stewart taking a group out. And this is part of Mitri Lake, right?
It is at the overflow of Laguna Dam, which was one of the earliest dams on the river. And there is a nature path there with signage to talk about the plants, the birds, the other critters that you find in that area. It's a really nice nature walk and a good birding area too.
Cool.
And Erica is a biologist, so she will be able to point out all the different features for people to learn more about.
Mm. So you've got the Cocoa Paw Museum, fry bread tasting, and this is the Cocoa Paw Museum. We were there years ago. It's the Cocoa Paw Tribal Museum and Cultural Center, and that's on the West Reservation. So that's going to be something very unique for folks to get involved because, again, it's going back into the native plants too, right? It's about how people eat and have in the past used different things like the mesquite tree, and so that's going to be interesting for folks, especially out of the area and in the area, to learn about.
And they'll learn a few words in Kokopah. They're going to be learning the Kokopah names for many of our birds, which is the Kokopah name for a roadrunner or the Kokopah name for a mockingbird. So that should be really fun for people to come and enjoy.
The other part too, Nancy and I love our walking and hiking. We're on our Love Your Parks tour of all parks in the country, all of them. Hiking the Pacific Crest Trail is one of our major, trails of this country. It goes through Mexico to California, to Canada, Canada to Mexico, however you want to do it. And some friends of ours have actually finished it. And you have Petra Orta, who's going to be talking about walking those 2,000 miles. That's going to be an amazing. I want to go to that. That's going to be cool to hear about. Teacher
decided after she retired that this was her life goal, and she started here at the southern most border of that trail in California, and she did do the 2,000 miles. I forget how many pairs of shoes she did wear out. Toward the end, she had to skip some places where the snow was too high, but she the following spring she went back and finished the areas where she had missed before.
Oh, good for her. Yeah, that's amazing.
She has some great photographs, and she, although met people along the way, she was on her own those 2,000 miles.
Wow, that's power. That is you got to, I think that's just amazing. One of those epic things that you do in your life. Like, it's just like life-changing, and to hear people talk about that experience, it inspires us all to take those chances on our dreams, and to do it. What are you looking forward to the most, Nancy? Audubon Nancy.
That's a hard question for me to answer because as I go over the schedule, I think, how can I possibly help get everything organized and still be able to attend some of the things that I want to attend? I think I'm going to be busy with making sure people get to the right place, and the leaders have lists of people who are going with them, and we make sure we get the lunches on. But I just want everybody to have a good time. I want everybody to come to Yuma and enjoy what we have here, because it is so unique. And sometimes we're the forgotten corner of Arizona, but there's much beauty here, and there's certainly lots of wildlife. Raven Craven martinis. That's pretty wildlife here.
That's a good time. Let me tell you,
and it's a good
cocktail. One thing I wanted. There's three things on the very first Friday of the January 4th, or the introductory, is bat viewing. So you get to go out and look at bats. Nancy and I know. Seriously, Nancy and I are so addicted to the bat thing, right? Bats. You can go canoeing on the river in the late afternoon. Like, you're going to see the sunset. It's so cool. We've done that, and I encourage everyone. The city of Yuma does this amazing program of taking people out canoeing. Sometimes they have
so much
guided
fun.
Tours that they pre-plan, but you can do it in groups. If you have a group of people, you can call them up and take this trip, and they're doing one especially for this event. There's nothing like it.
It's amazing.
And you think if you're nervous about capsizing, which we are, well, I am, because I'm like silly. Really, it's not even that. It's like, it's not even go to your knees, the water, if you capsize. And we didn't. I didn't capsize, and I thought I would. But it was so neat. The guides that took us down the river, they stopped, took us on shore. We looked at raccoon tracks, bird tracks, roadrunner tracks, and beaver tracks. We looked at all these different tracks on the.
So cool.
It's just the most magical thing. So I encourage people to do that. And stargazing, that's the other thing, going out and seeing the stars.
Yeah.
You have incorporated everything. I mean, Yuma is amazing. I encourage people, this is a city that has such a rich history. It's a river city. It's also, one of the oldest, it's the gateway to the Southwest for sure, but this is where people crossed over for the gold rush. This is where expeditions came through, like the Juan Bautista de Anza expedition from Mexico and Spain all the way through that founded the city of San Francisco while our country was becoming America. So this is ancient, amazing history, and encourage people for that and the natural wonders that you have. So good stuff. Yvonne, are you excited?
I'm really excited. To me, it's just like a dream come true because we've really been talking about it for a long time. I'm excited we're going to have it. And I'm like Nancy. I just hope everybody comes, has a good time, enjoys themselves, sees something unusual that they can go back and tell their friends about, and they come back again next year.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You have put together, I mean, I remember in the beginning you guys were talking about it like a one-day event, and now it's like 3 days, and you give people extra activities they can do on their own. So look how much you've done. So hats off to you.
Yeah, you guys did good.
We'll be raising our Craven Ravens to you as you put this and make it all happen. So there we go. And those drinks will be served throughout at Yuma Landing Bar and Grill. Again, the first place where the airplane landed. Birds and planes, they know where to fly. And Yuma apparently has the skies for that. Again, everyone, the website for this is yumahistorymuseum.org. And I encourage you, get your hotel rooms. Yvonne, you're already getting bookings for this, right? So people need to start booking. That's right. So coronadomotorhotel.com is the website for that. And also keep up with the Yuma Audubon Society at audubonyuma.org. And again, we were talking about eBird.com. It's a great place to go see all the different species of birds that happen out there. We want to thank everyone for joining us here on Big Blend Radio. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Yvonne. We have a special song for you because you have so many beautiful doves in Yuma, and the song is called Dove. It's from our friends, the Madisons. They're based out of the Smoky Mountains, and you can go get it. Their new single is out now. Go to their website, madisonsmusic.com. But here it is, Dove. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thanks, ladies.
Now you know you're on the dead on right track. You had to go through time and space and still try to make it back. Now you know now you know now better. You got it done with good set of wings. You got it done no matter where she flies, she sings. Now you know now better. Now you know now better. You got it done. Who knows where home is at? And she flies, returning to you on her path. Hey, now you know now you know now better. Now you know now you know better. You got it done home. Now you know now. Now you know now.